There's a 12-step for alcoholism. There's a 12-step for drug addiction. There's a 12-step for overeating. There's a 12-step for gambling. There's a 12-step for codependency. There's a 12-step for over 200. In all of the 12 steps, there is no mention of that substance. What's it addressing? The behavior.
Welcome to Aloha Speaks, home of Malama Aloha Pono with Alexander Noman.
Aloha, Alex here. And I heard someone today say their addiction was inactive and said in the same basically sentence or phrases, a number of phrases, that it was referring to that the drinking had, well, there was abstinence from drinking. So it could be anything. It could be drugs. It could be whatever the addiction is. That's equated as inactive from the addiction, the abstinence. For me, and that can hold water for anyone who wants to. I have so much to say about this, and I'm not going to say everything. But there's something for me I have in the parentheses, grist for the mill, and / slippery slope / behavior. That it's all about the behavior, because for me, ever since, it wasn't just the last 13 years, because in another month it'll be 13 years for me, clean and sober. It was that there was an 18-year period of time that I had gone back out after having 10 years clean and sober in AA. Beautiful, beautiful. So what the heck, that's powerful. That it shows the power of what I term, and others do, as the disease. So he was using the term the addiction, and I'm equating that as the disease. That can be controversial in some corners. For me, the controversy was eliminated way back in 1984, that first time when I went to rehab, and they made it clear this is a disease, not a moral issue, because carrying the weight of that I had a moral problem was too much, when it's not your fault, but it is my responsibility. I could somehow cope with that. That gave me something to work with, whereas the moral thing, whoa, way too much. So there was hope. That has remained with me. The other part of it is that it's a self-diagnosis. People were diagnosing me with alcoholism from way back when I was young. That didn't do any good until I finally was the one who admitted, yes, I do have this disease, and said the words, I am an alcoholic. I'm still a human being, but admitting I do have this disease. The issue is, okay, take the drink away. I didn't just fall out of the coconut tree, which to me just means I got to use the gift I've been given of this intelligence. that in the 12 steps that I've worked so much with in my daily life, in the 10th step, which combines all the previous 1 through 9 steps on a daily basis, that inventory, self-assessment, I call it in Malama Aloha Pono. I equate that to the 12, to seeing that there is no mention in the 12 steps, nor is there in self-assessment, having anything to do with substance. Because the 12 steps, there's a 12 step for alcoholism, there's a 12 step for drug addiction, there's a 12 step for narcotics, there's a 12 step for overeating, there's a 12 step for gambling, there's a 12 step for codependency, there's a 12 step for there's over 200 12 step. In all of the 12 steps, there is no mention of that substance or issue in that. Addressing whatever it is. What's it addressing? The behavior. So that's why it's a slippery slope, because for me, and I'm only talking about for me, because if someone wants to say, because it's a self-assessment, my addiction is inactive, for that person, it's none of my business. For me, I cannot say that, because I'm doing the assessment, the inventory, every single day. Or even if I miss a day, the issue is the thing that drives the inventory is when things go awry, when I'm upset, when I'm disturbed, angry, even sad, self-pity, anything. When I go into even irritated, it doesn't matter what, anything that is other than at peace, I have to turn the fingers at here, not there, and do that assessment. So that's almost every day. That's why I can't say it's inactive. And I say to my sponsor, I have a sponsor in AA because I'm current in AA. My disease is alive and well. And he says to me, alive and sick. He straightens me out with my semantics. Right. It's not inactive. As soon as I say it's inactive, it's more active, because it's going to catch me off guard with my behavior. Close this out. Here's the difference. It's a beautiful thing, because it's not about beating myself up. It used to be about beating myself up. When I do these assessments, the reason I resist doing the assessments is because I'm thinking I'm going to beat myself up for it, because I'm going to acknowledge the wrongs I've done. Acknowledgement does not anymore equal beating myself like it used to. The thing I'm really resisting is righting my wrong because of the ego deflation. It's the ego that doesn't want to deflate. It's not the ego, the inflated ego that doesn't want to come back to right size. That's what the resistance is about. But I'm ahead of it saying, oh no, because I don't want to beat myself. I don't anymore. It's an observation. I'm in the observer mode. That's the growth over the years. But it has taken years to get to this point. And it's a beautiful thing. It's not. Oh. So, onward. It's not going to end until it really ends. So it's about enjoyment. They call it trudging the road of happy destiny. The word trudging in those days meant walking with purpose. Until next time, aloha.